Welcome everybody to the ICT Metroist. I'm your host CJ, and on this channel we talk about the historical, economic, political, and civic things going on in and around our main city here in the heartland. And in today's video, we're going into part 1 of my series about Wichita's central identity. Being from the area, I can tell you that most people's conversation starters about Wichita is that it's known as the air capital of the world. If you go to the city's website and look at their About Wichita page, you can find the city describe itself as the air capital of the world. You go to the Visit Wichita, the region's official tourism organization, their About Wichita page has a nearly identical description to the city's page. If you go to the city's airport, which is, by the way, where the nickname ICT comes from, you can find a large metal installation for people leaving and arriving in the region. I mean, you can find this nickname on stickers, t-shirts, hats, lapel pins, postcards, non-Wichita flags, and even this one mug I found, which actually now looking back at the picture, it looks pretty cheaply AI generated. Ugh. And let me tell you, if you found that all these products burned a hole in your pocket the size of Kansas, that's alright because you're in luck. You can go to one of the many non-aviation related businesses that refer to themselves as the air capital. I mean, you can go work in industries like auction houses, auto repair, bail bonds, bingo gambling houses, catering centers, cigar shops, convenience stores, dialysis clinics, estate planning, financing, gymnastics, handicap transportation, HVAC maintenance, hotels, janitorial services, judo dojo, landscape, massage parlor, mental health and counseling, power wash, property management, roofing, skydiving, taxidermizing, and literally dozens of other business pages you can go find on Facebook call themselves by air capital this or that. But how do we first get this name? Where did it even come from? You know, the traditional answer you get is it just got that way because of the numerous names in aviation that started here, as well as the continued production of aircraft for civilian and military uses post-World War II. While that is totally true, we have to ask ourselves a quick question. Did we give ourselves this title? Or was it like a contest? Was it a group of employers, the city itself, or was it like some guy named Lou that didn't even work in aviation? He just happened to know a lot of people that worked in aviation and he just said it one day and it stuck, right? Like, where is the story? What is the deal with it? Well, in part 1 of this series, we're going to go look into the history of the title, Air Capital, and how it became associated with Wichita. But before we get into the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video across social media so that the algorithm does us good and other people can know where our nickname comes from. So, funny enough, the earliest usage that I could find of the term air capital actually doesn't even refer to a specific place or the productivity of its manufacturing sector. It actually refers to something a little more broad, something along the lines of the total amount of businesses, skilled workers, infrastructure, and investment related to aviation for a given area. Whether that area be a city, county, state, region, or even a nation. For example, in this December 15th, 1917 edition of Aviation and Aeronautical Engineering magazine, while discussing the post-war transition of the aviation industry, Chairman of the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, Dr. W.F. Durand, states, "Peace will find this country with an immense air capital on hand. This capital must be so conserved and directed that, if possible, not a man or dollar will be wasted in the hiatus between war and peace." And yes, I am going to talk like that for quotes from the 1910s and 1920s. Or let's try this 1918 example from National Geographic magazine and their article on Building America's Air Army. When discussing a good training regimen before a cadet's first flight, The article states, with proper training, the cadet is held back rather than hurried forward into this, on the theory that it is far better to spend a few extra days in intensive instruction than it is to lose either a cadet or a plane, both of which are now a part of America's air capital. The infrequency of fatal accidents in America's great training program has more than justified this caution. Oh my god, my throat's gonna be dead by the end of this video. Ugh. This original meaning of the term air capital would continue to be in use through the early 1920s, with every usage of the term that I found on Google Books, which, by the way, is a great online archive for old books, magazines, brochures, and other physical literature that will probably never be printed again. From my research, the first usage of the term air capital to refer to a single place would come on January 1st, 1924, in the New Year's edition of Ohio Journal of Commerce, when W.M.B. Stout of Stout Metal Aeroplane Company in Detroit, Michigan, made an opinion article that suggested that the town of Akron, Ohio, yes, you heard me right, Akron, Ohio, be the air capital of the world. He suggests that Akron, before many years, will be the aerial manufacturing and navigation center of this country, and perhaps the world. It is so situated geographically that it is most natural point in the United States for a great air terminal for airships and airplane lines serving the east, south, and west. Besides, it is on the route from the east to Chicago, which doubtless becomes the terminal for airlines in the north. As I said before, this is the first usage of the term air capital as we know it today, that being the aircraft manufacturing capital of the country/world. Many other cities were also called the air capital of the world. For example, in the same year, Paris, France was given the title. As well, through the following years in the 1920s, you also have the following cities mentioned as air capital of the world, those being Chicago, Cincinnati, Detroit, Kansas City, and Los Angeles. So you might be listening to this and seeing this and be like, okay, so when does Wichita show up? Well, this is where the story gets a little funny and also becomes a testament to why museums, specifically the local ones in your city or county, are a great resource for you to use. So, I started this research journey by looking at the city's website, and their description of how we became the air capital would make you to believe that it's the aircraft manufacturers themselves. If you go to the Wichita-Sedgwick County Historical Museum, they have this wonderful video that says it's the Wichita Chamber of Commerce who did it.
The Chamber of Commerce seized the opportunity to crown Wichita the air capital of America, a lofty title, but one the city would strive to live up to.
By the way, if you want to go watch the full 10-minute video that this little snippet was a part of, and the exhibit that goes along with it, go pay the Wichita-Sedgwick County Historical Museum a visit. It's totally worth it. And finally, the third source on where Wichita became the air capital would be Wikipedia, as they said it was the Aeronautical Chamber of Commerce that dubbed Wichita the air capital of the world, which is really odd because I've lived in Wichita my whole life and I never heard it was an outside organization that did it. So who was it? Who's right? Well, again, it's a funny story and we need to kind of make a little timeline to make sense of the story. So our story starts in early to mid 1927. A contest is organized to develop a symbol of Wichita's aviation prominence. It's put on by the Wichita Chamber of Commerce and the Wichita branch of the Kiwanis Club. 26-year-old businessman Ted E. Young sent in the winning design for a $75 prize, what would be about $1,400 in today's money. The only information I could find on Mr. Young was his obituary, but it doesn't say anything about his life. Though his wife's obituary includes that she was an active member in the civics and cultural institutions of Wichita. Though I don't have any evidence, I'd like to imagine that they must have been some local power couple back in the mid-20th century. So who knows where else their influences could lie. As well, during this time, the winning logo begins being printed on everything from hats and signs to stamps and name tags. So this is verifiably the first time that the title The Air Capital is associated with Wichita. As to when it would catch on, it would only take the following year for Wichita's nickname to be discussed outside of Wichita and outside of the business community entirely. The first actual date on the timeline is on October 2nd, 1927. The Wichita Eagle publishes a Hoots and Quacks cartoon by Ben Hammond called The Two Capitals, where the owl character Hoots reads from the news section, "With its airplane factories, Wichita is becoming the air capital of the world. But look here. Here's a Paris medium who claims he can float in midair without any wings at all. Sounds fishy to me." And his duck friend Quacks replies with, "Yeah, looks like Paris is the hot air capital right now." Which causes Hoots to break the newspaper over Quacks's head in frustration at that perfectly awesome dad joke. November 29th, 1927. Notes taken in 1927 that were uploaded to the Wichita State University's online database states that the Chamber of Commerce was moving to expand the Wichita, the air capital publicity campaign. These notes were taken by a journalist or journalism advocate who I can't remember what it says. I'm going to put the thing on there. God, let's just leave this in. Sometimes you just mess it up. You forget to put it in the script. So here's what Wichita State University said this guy is. I'm just going to put this on the screen. Alrighty then. May 26th, 1928. The National Aviation Journal Air Transportation newspaper has a small article about the large amount of aircraft production coming from Wichita. June 1928. In our neighbors to the east, there was a small article from the Missouri Line magazine that talks about the amount of aircraft freight coming out of Wichita. In the same month, a section in the National Typographical Journal for Union Workers and Their Opinions has one talking about Wichita for the site of a convention, proclaiming it is the air capital of the world twice. July 1928. The nationally printed monthly journal, The Postal Record, had an article describing the absence of articles, ironically, from the Wichita's Post workers about things going on in and about the city's post office. That same month, this opinion article in Air Travel News makes the case that Wichita should be the air capital. October 1st, 1928. There's an article in the New York-based magazine, The Survey, describing Wichita, its aviation industry, how it operates, and that it calls itself the air capital. November 16th, 1928. Some people in the Kansas Bar Association's annual convention made a case to hold future circuit court meetings in Wichita due to its central location. That same month, a short opinion article is made about the history and economy of Wichita, nicknaming it the air capital of the country. Sometime in late 1928, Wichita is mentioned as the air capital over a dozen times in the 1929 edition of Kansas Facts. Plus, in one of the articles, it mentions that U.S. pilots have long known that Wichita is the air capital. They have told their findings in the ports of the great cities through the country. January 28, 1929. The Minnesotan newspaper, the Duluthian, mentions statistics about Wichita and it being dubbed the air capital by the city's Chamber of Commerce. Okay, so we've now gone over a full year of over probably a dozen different sources calling Wichita the air capital. So the story's done, right? Well, not exactly. So you remember what Wikipedia said about the Aeronautical Chamber of Commerce? Well, February 15th, 1929. The 1929 edition of Aeronautical Chamber of Commerce's Yearbook is released. This is where Wikipedia says Wichita was dubbed the air capital. You see, on Chapter 6 of the Yearbook, titled Manufacturers, Airplanes, Engines, and Accessories, on page 64, they discuss the rivalry that's happening between dozens of cities and their commerce chambers claiming that they are the aviation capital. It goes on to say that 3 different cities are the true contenders for that honor, those being New York City, Detroit, and Wichita. And on the 53 reports cited for the production numbers that were submitted by each respective Chamber of Commerce, they said that Wichita led in the number of planes manufactured at 927 planes versus New York's state. Weird, like it really is weird that they just kind of switched to New York State versus New York City, right? Either way, versus the whole state of New York's 825 planes. Though they do mention how New York came in first at over twice the value with $7.5 million in production versus Wichita's $3 million. Now, obviously per capita, Wichita wins basically in all instances, but it's kind of fun to imagine the magazine didn't like explicitly crown a winner. Like, in fact, it kind of makes it seem like that they both mentioned that Wichita and I guess New York State kind of share the crown in a sense. But, I mean, that's probably a fluke, right? Like, obviously in the next year's edition, they're going to say Wichita is their capital, right? Well, it turns out they don't even mention the term air capital in the 1930 edition, nor the 1931 edition, nor in any edition throughout the 1930s, nor in the only other edition I found from 1955. I make kind of a deal about this because every one of those yearbooks mentions Wichita dozens of times, yet none of them refer to it as the air capital of the world. I mean, like, they didn't even mention the air capital title in any issue for the following decade. Like, was this just an afterthought to do the contest once and not continually do it over and over again every year? Because, like, production numbers are going to be different? like, is this just an afterthought from the editor? Like, I know I'm kind of going off on a rant there, but, like, let's get back to where I was going with this. Wichita's identity didn't come just from the manufacturers. There was a very specific place and a very specific purpose for calling us the air capital, and for not only calling us that, but actually promoting it outside of Wichita's boundaries and towards the whole of the world. So let's recap. The Wichita Chamber of Commerce began the campaign to recognize the aviation industry as being an integral part of the Wichita community and its identity. It took about 1 year to be disseminated through state, regional, and national publications. About a half year after that, we won a contest once, and the name just kind of stuck? Well, no, it's not just that. That's just how the term air capital became associated with Wichita. That's just part 1 in my series on the air capital of the world. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can be informed on future videos, including part 2, where we'll go into how Wichita kept its air capital identity. I've been your host, CJ. This is the ICT Metroist, and thank you so much for watching. Oh, also, really big thanks to the Wichita and Central County Historical Museum for letting me take some pictures and also letting me put this video in. I didn't actually ask, I just kind of did it. But hey, thanks for letting me come by and take a video. Hope other people can watch this video and go check them out. It's like $5 for an adult ticket. It's really cool too. Seriously. Go see it. Bye.